Hi guys, I'm Mama Bear to Many. I am mom to 15 and we are snuggling. He is getting ready for a nap and some of the other kids were reading aloud to me and I thought that... Hi guys, I'm Mama Bear to Many. I am mom to 15 children. I have been homeschooling for the greater part of 28 years and we have done so many different types of homeschooling. I am quite pleased the way that we homeschool right now. We have been doing it for a number of years. And I have just seen great growth in my children from changing over to this type of technique in learning. I think that sometimes we think of school and learning as a separate entity. When it's not really a separate entity, we start learning when we are young babies. They learn on their own to crawl and to do all the things, right? And we give them the tools that they need in order to do that. We give them love, we give them space, we put them down on their tummy time, we do all the things, right? I feel like our children can continue to grow in a positive manner and continue learning in a positive manner if we give them the correct tools. So the tools do not necessarily have to be a curriculum, but in today's video, I am going to talk to you guys about when we feel as an unschooling family that a curriculum is appropriate. So we are more of a child-led / unschooling type family. And we think that there's a few times that we might use curriculum. One is when our children have reached an age where they are old enough, like teens, that they want to choose their own way that they want to learn or their own divide of learning. We want to give them the tools. So that may include curriculum. That may include a full curriculum course. It might be courses that they have just chosen. It might be online tutorials. It might be once they're 16, they can start taking college courses. So it might be any of those things above, but it's really up to them. We just discuss things with them relationally to see where their hearts and their minds are going, and allow them to make the steps necessary in order to get them to their end goal. So another time that we might, and that has done really well, some of my children have loved curriculum. They might choose like 2 years worth of curriculum and finish it in like 6 months because they're just like so anxious to want to learn about different things, and they just eat it up. Other people, they're more laid back. Maybe they want to do online learning. Maybe they want to do just different types of training programs, and we just provide them the tools that they need in order to do that. So another time that we use curriculum is for reading, and we do that when the child is ready. So the difference in our learning style is we are not just automatically, okay, you're 5 years old, you need to do a curriculum. We are waiting to see the clues that our children are going to give us in order to want to learn to read. Once they have done the clues to tell us what that they want to read and that they're emotionally, mentally ready to read, then we will work with them. So a child who's 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, not necessarily their brain development may not necessarily be there in order to do comprehension at the same time. So we will teach them little tidbits of reading so that they'll have a good foundation, but I would not start a 4 or 5 year old on a curriculum at that point because they don't really have the whole scope of reading. So I think fundamentally there's, say like in Finland, they wait until a child's 7 years old before they start formal education. I think that's actually a really good age range. Between 7 and 8, then a child is mentally and emotionally ready to handle an actual curriculum. So for us in our household, we wouldn't start something before then. Now, a child may already know how to read a lot of things before they get to that level, just from natural learning ways. But, and some of my children have never actually used a curriculum. We just learn to read through books. But at the age of 7 or 8, if they have a desire to read, then I usually go forth with trying to help them to read. And then we talk about different ways that a person can learn to read, and then they are offered a like curriculum type program. So most of the time we use a curriculum from Christian Light, and that would be, it's just a learn to read basic phonical awareness type program, and that has 10 books, and we just would work through that. Now on a daily basis it would look different than a normal school type setting, because I wouldn't be saying, oh, you have to do this lesson today or that lesson today. It's more on the aspect of would you like to do your reading? And or they might bring it to me and be like, I want to do reading, either way, and they would say yes or no, and then we would go from there. And if say they wanted to just do one page and they were maybe just ready with that one page and they wanted to be done for the day, then I'm okay with that. If they wanted to sit there and do 10 pages, then I'm okay with that too. And I found that by doing it that way, we usually would complete the program in a timely fashion, and it just works. It just works. So they would have that, and we would just work through it, and I would offer it. They would come to me and ask, and we just work through the program. Or they can also bring it to older siblings if they want to, and yeah, or maybe an older sibling, they might want to. That we also go to the library a lot, so they'll ask to pick up books, and we will let them pick and choose whatever books they want. Even if the book is way above their grade level, they're allowed to choose that book, and I might just read the book with them. I don't think that they should have to fight with themselves to sound something out for a long period of time. Like if a child, say the child was struggling with the word banana, for instance, and they're going ba, 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 and then they look at me and they want to know the answer to that, I'll just say banana. I'm not going to say, no, what does N say? What does this say? What does this say? No, because if you eventually say that a bunch of times to them, then they are going to get it. Why make it a struggle for them when they can learn without having to do that? So that's the way and my philosophy on teaching them to learn. So a lot of my younger children would be in some sort of learning to read program, or yeah, they're doing some sort of that. I also don't have said times and days that they would need to do that. I have times that I'm available or older children are available, and they know those times, but they also know that they're free to ask to do it at different times as well. So we might be doing, you know, a lesson like while cooking supper. Oops, sorry, need to rearrange, little man. So that's how that works. Another time that we might use curriculum is when I want to bring on a new mathematical concept to my children. I think that it's a lot easier for a child to develop mathematics when completing something from beginning to end. So in the public school system, and a lot of the curriculums are written in a different manner where it's like addition, and then they might start like single addition, and then it might start with trying to think, like multiplication, and then it might go back to addition with like 3 digits, and then I feel like it's, and then there might be fractions and decimals like thrown in there. I feel like it's better to develop a skill completely, so that they have like a complete understanding of a skill. For instance, many of my children were looking at developing fractions and different types of fractions as well as decimals. So and it just became something like decimals, for instance, became something where we were adding some money. Like I do real life math, so we were in the grocery store and trying to add different products so that we would come up with a grand total. And while they're adding, they are like asking about the decimal point and how we know where that goes and why is it this, and so lots of different questions. So those subjects for me, I will teach as almost as a unit. So currently we have a program that teaches just fractions. I'm trying to think of the name of the program. They're yellow books. Let me see if I can get somebody to get one for me. So she just brought me, this is her second fractions book. We already did the first one. So this is, there's 4 books in this series, and it's Key to Fractions. There's another series that's Key to Decimals. So we're going to be working on fractions first, and we did book 1 of this, and it just developed the basics of a fraction. So my children from ages 10 to 16 are actually working on this. So they will go, some will go really fast through it and some might go a little bit slower through it, but it's just like an overview of the fractions. So yeah, I like it because they're very basic things and they develop and they build upon each thing that was just learned. So it's given as like a step by step. So there'll be a specific time, usually a couple times a week, if not daily, that I would make myself available to say, hey, you guys ready to work on fractions? And they wanted to learn it anyway, so they're like, yeah, we're ready to learn fractions. They wanted to learn it, so we're gonna learn it. So we would like go step by step through that, and maybe usually we do about 4 pages, and that takes maybe like 15 minutes to do the 4 pages. And I'm available during that time to help them out with that. It took them, I think, a week and a half to do the first book. And so we will just continue on. And if somebody needs to be a little bit slower, that's okay too. They can be a little bit slower, and then some people can, if they want to go ahead and feel like they have the concept okay, then I'm okay with that. I just usually would check their stuff to make sure that they're understanding the concepts of it, and they know that they can come to me during that time that I'm sitting down to ask questions for the fractions if they don't understand it. So that is how we might use a math curriculum. I do that for many different reasons. We also do so many other things that most people do not do as far as subjects go, but those are the times that I would use a specific curriculum. If I see something as well, say I have a child that's really into poetry, I might pick up like a poetry type curriculum, but usually it's something that I can just develop or pick up online, get some, it just really depends. And I think just having open communication with each child that you're trying to teach, and teach them as an individual rather than collectively, is really important. So those are just some ways that we use curriculum in our home. And again, I don't want to say it's all optional. It's just based on where they're at. You have to read and communicate with your children in order to be able to homeschool in this way, because if you don't have a good relationship and you're not really seeing where the need is, then it's hard to develop something that you don't know that you're not seeing. So that is about it. Just wanted to give that little tidbit. Hope you have a blessed and wonderful day.